Coming up on Mountain News this morning, breaking overnight. The Pentagon says it struck another alleged drug boat. And beef prices are going up, and it may stay that way for a while.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Tuesday, December 22nd. The time is now 4:59, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, Neely, and a little bit of a wet Tuesday for some folks as we're starting to see those scattered shower chances continuing into your Christmas Eve, as we so to speak. So let's take a look at that satellite and radar. As you can see, a little bit of those bands here and there over the past hour. And here's a look at what we're seeing right now as we pause it. Some folks staying dry. Many folks staying dry, actually, with some folks just seeing a little bit of rain this morning. Now, in terms of those temperatures, though, you gotta know we're looking a lot warmer as we're continuing on this week. Right now, seeing some 50s. Now, by the time we head into the afternoon, we'll continue to see that warm trend with upper 50s and low 60s taking over. But the moral of the story is we're very warm for this time of year. Maybe not a winter coat day. In fact, maybe just a light jacket during the morning and maybe just a sweater during the afternoon overall. Not too bad of a forecast, just a little bit of some scattered showers. Neely.
Megan, thank you. One person is dead and another seriously hurt after one vehicle crashed in Laurel County. Deputies say the crash happened around 5 a.m. yesterday along Kentucky 192. They say an SUV went off the road before hitting a tree head-on. 52-year-old Christopher Allen Cornet of London was pronounced dead after he was taken to a hospital. 38-year-old Ashley Jane Mosley was flown to UK for treatment. A Louisville business owner is venting his frustration over the city's access to properties impacted by the UPS plane crash. Metro leaders say that businesses in the half-mile crash radius near Grade Lane can now access their properties from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Emergency leaders have limited access to the area as crews still work to clean up the wreckage of the crash. The CEO of Quantum Inc. Company welcomed some of its workers back to their property yesterday morning, but he says the wait and restrictions have put a strain on families during the holidays.
It's put us in a scenario where we got to work around the clock. We got to work weird hours. We got to sacrifice time with families, and we got to sacrifice enjoying the holidays.
Our sister station reached out to the mayor's office to learn more about the site cleanup and the restrictions. Some parts of the country are dealing with flooding. This video out of the Bay Area in California, parts of Placer County had an evacuation warning after water levels rose dramatically in the city of Redding. Police say there have been folks stranded on the roads due to flooding, as some of the roads were impassable. The Defense Department has confirmed it launched another strike on an alleged drug boat, this time in the Pacific Ocean, killing one person. That brings the total number of strikes to at least 29 since September, with more than 100 people killed. Over the weekend, troops seized a second sanctioned oil tanker, and President Trump says there's a third in its sights. Venezuela has slammed the U.S. strikes and seizures of oil tankers as piracy. The country's government has introduced an anti-piracy bill. On state TV Monday, Morado said President Trump should focus on his own country.
We have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had. If he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
Last week, the president wouldn't rule out a war with Venezuela, and Monday he threatened land attacks could start soon. The president said he's already approved plans for 2 new ships, though he ultimately expects the new fleet to consist of 20 to 25 new vessels. Well, this is a busy week for shopping and for traveling. AAA estimates more Americans are traveling this holiday season than last year, and airports and highways are expected to be crowded today. CBS's Gwen Baumgartner has more.
'Tis the season to be traveling. AAA estimates a record number of Americans, over 122 million, are traveling this holiday season, beating last year's all-time high of 119.7 million travelers.
How has the experience been so far this morning?
It's been fantastic. There's always going to be some sort of chaos, but you just got to have patience.
While Tuesday is expected to be a busy day in airports, travel experts say things will slow down later in the week.
Once you get to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, things slow down a bit. So if you've got still some flexibility, maybe book a Christmas Day flight. Those tend to be cheaper and airports are just calmer on Christmas Day. Then things ramp back up post-Christmas with people coming back home and the New Year's crowd that wants to travel for New Year's Eve.
Interstates are also expected to be crowded this week, about 110 million people hitting the road this holiday season. Some travelers in the Northeast trying to beat the traffic by getting out on the road late Sunday night.
Yeah, we left around 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And actually, it's been a pretty good drive. The kids were kind of like, oh, we don't want to go, we don't want to go. You're going. You're going to enjoy it.
How has the traffic been so far?
Actually, it was wonderful. There was no traffic at all. That's why we left late. That's the key to cross the New York State is leave at 11 o'clock at night.
And an added bonus for those hitting the road this year, gas prices are hovering around $2.86 a gallon nationally, down almost 20 cents a gallon from last year. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
AAA estimates around 8 million people will take domestic flights this holiday season. The Trump administration is suspending federal leases for all large offshore wind projects under construction. The administration cited unspecific national security risk. The move threatens thousands of jobs and cheaper energy and marks a major escalation in President Trump's attacks against offshore wind. The Interior Department did not specify the national security risk, but did note the potential for wind turbine movement and light reflectivity to interfere with radar. Russian and Ukrainian representatives met with U.S. officials in Florida this weekend as the peace still remains elusive. White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff released two statements, one saying meetings with Russia were constructive and the Russians are fully committed to achieving peace in Ukraine. Another lengthier statement said meetings with Ukraine included discussions of key documents, including a 20-point peace plan and security guarantees for Ukraine. Land concessions and security guarantees for Ukraine remain the most difficult hurdles. Beef prices are going up. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, ground beef cost an average of $6.78 a pound in November. That is a 2.1% increase from September and a 15% jump from a year earlier. The record beef prices come as the U.S. has a historically small cattle herd. That low supply is accompanied by strong demand for ground products, which are among the least costly options. A series of bills signed into law in Ohio is overhauling the state's property tax system. And here's what that means for those in the Buckeye State. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says it's a $3 billion series of reforms that will lower how much folks pay and will limit how fast their property taxes can go up. The governor says this is going to provide significant savings to families.
Well, I think it would be a grave mistake to completely do away with real estate taxes, with property taxes. Look, no one likes taxes, and we all would love to just say we have no taxes. But we have to provide for our schools, we have to provide for fire, EMS, police, and children's services, and many, many other things.
DeWine says homeowners in Ohio should see significant changes by the second half of next year. Jim Beam's main distillery will pause making spirits next month as the bourbon industry faces lower sales. While the Claremont location in Bullitt County will not be producing bourbon or whiskey, the visitor center will still be open for customers. The Kentucky Distillers Association cites rising taxes, changing drinking habits, and tariffs for the stoppage. Governor Andy Beshear says the war on tariffs strips the industry of international markets like Canada.
They've banded together and stopped buying U.S. products like bourbon. That's bad for the industry in Kentucky. And listen, I don't want to deprive anyone, even Canadians, of good Kentucky bourbon.
In October, the Kentucky Distillers Association said the state had an all-time high of 6.1 million aging barrels of bourbon. However, the record number comes with a price, $75 million in barrel taxes. According to the KDA, that is up 27% from 2024 and 163% through 5 years. Well, thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Lawmakers are once again working on a bill to protect kids online. But just how far will those proposed regulations go?
And we are talking rain chances starting today and continuing throughout the weekend.